Hi everyone, my name is Yukari and I will be making daily process videos for the month of July as I sketch in my Hobonichi Techo for World Watercolor Month. So let's get started. Today is day 25 and the prompt is lost. So I decided to explore a little bit the concept of lost and found edges, or some people, I guess, call it soft and hard edges in watercolors, because the play between different types of edges define your composition, and it tells a story of your painting. And so part of learning about watercolors is also learning and managing lost and found edges. So that is what I'm doing today. All right, so here are my supplies for today. I'm using a Chinese round brush, number 2 round brush, and I didn't have any toothpicks, but we did have skewers. So that's what I'm using for parts of my painting. Since I'm painting poppies, I am using my red, which is Pyro Crimson. And I'm going to add to that a little bit of Hansa Yellow Medium to make it a little warmer. And then I will be using sap green for the stems and for the leaves. And then finally, neutral tint for the center of the poppies. So I'm going to be pretty loose here, just kind of making some squiggly half circles and 2 sort of different types of poppies. One that's that you can see the center, so those are the ones that I'm leaving the center sort of white, and then the other one is side view poppies. So here's another version. And I'm going to be softening one side. And so technically, I suppose these aren't going to be lost edges, but having one side or having an edge that is really soft, I think adds a lot of interest really to your composition. So I'm going to try to keep one side of it with hard edges and the other side with softer edges. And I'm adding a little more yellow letting that yellow bleed into the wet area. And sometimes that creates movement too, or even suggest light hitting. But anyway, I think it's just a lot more interesting to suggest rather than to be explicit. And I am adding or dotting really more pigment. I was trying to avoid any blooms. And so sometimes if I see it developing, I try to scrub parts of it. But at the end, I did notice a couple of blooms. And so here I'm using the skewer edge just to make parts of it jaggedy. And I'm mainly going to use it for the stem. The poppy stem are quite hairy, I guess. So here's sap green, just right now a suggestion of a stem, and dotting more sap green and letting it bleed into the flower. So I'm also going to soften one side of the edge. And I'm going to be adding more stems and green to suggest leaves a little later on. And I'm adding neutral tint. And, you know, sometimes you have to be really careful about when you add it. It's just a delicate balance, right? You want it to bleed a little bit, but notice on the top poppy, it's just bled too much. And so I have to go and grab some tissue so I can blot that off. But this one right here, I'm kind of liking that, and I should have left that one alone, but you're going to see in just a minute where I try to add more color. Sometimes it's really important, I guess, to step back and let things develop. I was trying to fix that bleed a little more. And sometimes when you do lift some wetness, it does become flat. So I'm going to be adding more stems, just sort of to suggest there are more poppies in the field. And then using the edge of the skewer to create tiny hairs on the stem. I think I was trying to create another soft flower there, but I think it just ended up drying as a bloom. And I'm going to be adding a little bit more color on top. So yeah, this is me trying to fix that dark bleed. Should have left it. So it's always a balance of when to leave it and when to keep working at it, and I'm still struggling with that, obviously. But looking back, I mean, just looking at it as I'm narrating it, you know, I think it's not looking so bad. But I do love the softness that these soft edges create. And then I think I'm gonna call this really done. All right, so here is my completed journal page, along with a quote that says, "Not until we are lost do we begin to understand ourselves," by Henry David Thoreau. And I thought that that was a really nice quote for my journaling today, that I talk a little bit about lost and found edges. And that's the part that I love about watercolors, is trying to manage it. You can't really control it, but you're managing the edges a little bit. And obviously, I'm still learning, and I think I will be for the rest of my life. The other thing too about my completed work is that I did add a little bit of ultramarine violet to the left side of the flowers, just to hint at a little bit of shadow. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and then we'll see you tomorrow.